Hi, I'm Robin from CookingMexicanRecipes.com, and today I'm making Mexican white cheese dip. Now this recipe I made about 2 weeks ago, and I made it for a bunco party that I was having at the house, and everybody just loved it. It's an easy recipe. It only has 4 ingredients: cheese, onions, garlic, and green chilies. Now the way I'm going to get some really good flavor into this dip is by caramelizing my onions. That's going to bring a lot of flavor to it and give it the oohs and ahs that we're looking for. Now, don't be intimidated by caramelizing onions if you've never done it before. It's really easy to do. All we're going to do is chop up our onions. In this recipe, I'm going to chop them up really fine, and then I'm going to cook them over medium-low heat in some olive oil and butter on the stove, and it's going to take 40 to 60 minutes to accomplish. So that part makes this recipe a little bit more involved, but it's really worth it for the flavor that you're going to get. Okay, so first let's talk about our ingredients. I'm going to use some Land O'Lakes white American cheese. This one melts really well, and I've read in several different places that this is the cheese to use. So I've got about 1 pound of this to go in our recipe. Our next item is going to be onions. I'm going to use 2 today because they're small. So these onions are going to cook down when we caramelize them, and it's going to be, it's going to seem like a lot in the beginning, but it's really not. They're going to cook down to probably 1/3 of what you see here. Our next ingredient is I'm going to use 4 garlic cloves, and I'm just going to use them in a garlic press and add it later. And then our last recipe is our green chilies. I found a great deal at Trader Joe's for green chilies in a can just like this. They're like 79 cents a can. It's a great deal, and they work out great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to strain them like I've got them here in the bowl. I want to get most of the juice out so that it doesn't water down my dip. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our onions, and I'm going to chop these up. I've got a little piece of equipment here that I wanted to show you that I found out that works really well for dicing onions. It's a KitchenAid. It's a hand immersion blender with several attachments. This one is going to work on top of this, and I'm going to put the onions in there, and it's going to chop it up really nice and really quick. So I'm just going to make some rough chop here, and I'm going to throw the onions in the container. I'll probably get a few pieces in there like that, and then I'm going to attach this. So I'm just going to pulse this, and you can see how quickly it gets this into a nice fine mince. And then I'll just dump it into a bowl for now. So to start our caramelized onions, I'm going to set the temperature to medium-high. I'm going to start it a little bit on the higher side just to get started. I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of some olive oil just to get started, something like that. And then I've got a little bit of butter. I'm going to melt that up a little bit. And then I'm going to throw my onions in the pan. Now this may look like a lot of onions to you right now, but don't worry, it's going to cook down to about 1/3 of what you see right here in the pan. And these are going to turn nice and brown, and the sugar is going to come out of that onion and just become really nice and sweet. It'll be a rich, deep, mellow flavor, and it's going to make that dip taste wonderful. Now I also cut these onions like I mentioned. I diced them for this particular recipe because it'll make dipping a lot easier. A lot of times you can caramelize onions by making long strips, and that doesn't work as well for this recipe because it makes eating the dip a lot more difficult. Okay, so we're going to want to watch these carefully and just tend to them and stir them regularly because I don't want them to burn. Okay, I've been cooking my onions now for about 50 minutes or so, so I want you to have a look and see how much they've cooked down. Check this out. Look at how much is left. So what I've done is I've spread them out like this so I can get most of, get it covered most of the surface so I can cook them faster. And then I just turn them over like this, and then I just kind of spread them out as much as I can. Now these are caramelized pretty good. You can go longer if you want, but you can stop here as well. At this point I'm going to add some crushed minced garlic. So I'm going to put the garlic in my mincer, and as you can see, I'm going to squeeze it through, cut it off, and just kind of spread it on top of the onion. And I'm going to do 4 cloves of that. Okay, so I've got all my garlic in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of mix it around. I want it to saute for probably about 2 or 3 minutes. And you can start to really smell the aroma from the garlic as it heats up. It's really wonderful. It's a wonderful smell. And this right here is going to give so much flavor to that cheese dip. You're going to love it. Okay, we've got our garlic all sauteed up nice and good for 2 or 3 minutes. Now I'm ready to put the whole dish together. So I've got my American cheese in slices, and I'm going to put it in this oven-proof dish. And I'm just going to lay it in here. I think I'm going to do this in layers. I'm going to add a little bit here, and now I'm going to put some of the delicious onions and garlic, and I'm going to spread it around so it's, you know, nice and distributed. And I'm going to add some of the green chilies. Just going to throw it in there like that. Spread it out as much as you can. Now I'm going to put another layer of cheese. That way I won't have to stir it quite so much when it comes out of the oven. My oven's ready. I just heard that beep. Okay, so now I'm going to put the rest of this all over the top. Spread it out as best you can. That looks great. Top it off with the rest of my green chilies. And we'll pop it in the oven. I've got the oven set at 325, and it will probably take about 25, well, maybe 15-20 minutes. I'm not sure. However long it takes just to melt the cheese and get this all stirred up, and you can serve it. So I'm ready to put this in the oven. I'm going to stick it in there, nice and hot, and I'll set my timer for about 15-20 minutes. I'll check it, and when it's all melted through, then it'll be done. So it's been 15 minutes in the oven. We're going to check it and see how the cheese is doing. Check out these bubbles. Now the outside's pretty melted, but I want to make sure the center feels a little stiff yet. So I'm going to kind of just stir it up. And you can see it's getting brown. I'd say probably in 5 minutes we can serve this. All right, it's time to pull our dip out of the oven. It's been in here about 20 minutes total, and it's nice and hot. Let you see this. Let's try it. I'm going to bring it out here. Nice and bubbly and soft. And this would be great. You can serve this with vegetables, carrot sticks, celery sticks, some nice crackers, or what would be really good is to slice up a nice sourdough baguette in thin slices and serve it with that. That'd be awesome. I'm going to give this a taste and we'll see how it is. It's going to be a little hot for me. Maybe I'll just use a spoon. But you can see all the peppers in here and the onions. Ooh, baby, that's hot. It's a great recipe. The onions and garlic make it. This is really good. I hope you'll give it a try. Visit my website at cookingmexicanrecipes.com. I've got more recipes there for you to try as well. Be sure and sign up for my channel here on YouTube, and I'll see you next time.